Hello guys, this is Christian Lukaszewicz of Embarla Firgasto and you're watching Antichrist magazine. Recently I've been asked to answer a couple of questions regarding Embarla Firgasto, so I sincerely hope that you will like the video. First of all, I was asked to introduce Embarla Firgasto to all of you, since you might not have heard of the project before. So Embarla Firgasto started somewhere in December 2016, and the main assumption was to create own music pretty much. And I created Interspe Met Metum, the first official release made by me, and it was an EP album containing, I guess, 3 songs, and it's purely black metal with low-tuned guitars. And a few days ago I released my official first solo full-length album called Temporal Capsule, which is a bit different than Interspe Met Metum, and I would consider it experimental death black metal something. I have no idea how to describe my music. It's just so weird. It's just everything that comes up to my mind, and that's it. That's the main reason and how the things work. Um, for some reason, I was asked to comment on the current situation in Ukraine since we have war. So my comment on this is that I do not support war. I'm strongly against that, and I sincerely hope that all the Ukrainians will get back to their country where can they live peacefully. Um, Worth saying that as a native Pole, I'm certainly aware that there's lots of Ukrainians who live in Poland, mainly because of war, but not only that. They work, they live, they study, they just live in general, and yeah, it's also very good to know that those people feel safe in our country. And yeah, my last sentence is: do not give up and stay strong, Ukraine. I really hope that you will get your country back one day in one piece as it was years ago. So what is the meaning behind the band name? That's a very funny story, but also a proof that I'm just a fucking lazy retard. So back in December 2016, I was looking for a band name, and at the same time I was playing one of my favorite video games, Gothic 2, and I just met the name Embarla Firgasto, which stands for probably the most powerful potion in the whole game, that gives the most bonus points to your character. And yeah, the whole potion is basically a mixture of dragon eggs, sulfur, and something else. I don't really remember. So I picked that up mainly because it sounds great to my ears. It sounds a little bit Latin maybe. I have no idea, but it just sounds quite nice. And that's the story. So it's just me being a lazy fuck who cannot really come up with any decent name that isn't inspired by something or someone. I have no idea, but that's the story. Long story short, playing video game and taking that band name. The next question is if I can tell a little bit about Temporal Capsule. So this album is something that I consider my opus magnum as of now. I had been working on this album for the past 4 years to make it happen. So I was collecting my gear, I was spending tons of money to discover the sounds that I really wanted in this music. and yeah, it's pretty much a fictional album. Something, yeah, I call it a fictional album. So what I mean is that I wanted to create a book in musical format. So as you might know, there are chapters in this album, um, and everything. I can assure you that everything in this album is connected to each other in some way. I worked really hard to get this result, but if you listen more closely, you can notice that the songs, the structures are somewhat um, attached to each other. So that's it. So about the lyrics on this release, I would say that I was mainly inspired by the Humans. The topics on this album are mainly misanthropy, philosophy, maybe a little bit of psychology as well. And yeah, as much as I do not consider myself a good lyric writer, I think that I have given the final message enough in a proper way. So yeah. About cover art, it was entirely painted by a painter from Portugal named Belial Necroarts. He has his Facebook page where you can look at his arts. In my opinion, he's very good. He's a phenomenal, amazing artist and also human being. So if you really want to have a decent, amazing cover art for your music or something else, then go check him out, because he's very good at what he does. So the next question is if I think it's important to have a label deal. It in 2022 I strongly believe that it's not very that important, mainly because you can do everything by your own. I'm speaking about producing CDs, producing merch, promoting yourself on the internet. So all those factors you can do pretty much on your own, and I would say that maybe 80% of current labels are just not worth it. So unless you have a label deal with the labels like, for example, Nuclear Blast, it's not worth it. Period. What and when got me into music? So it was initially and mainly my cousin in 2009, 2010 ish, something like that. And I remember that I pretty often drove to him over to his place just to talk about video games, music, books, etc. So he was one of my first introductions into music, but not only that. Um, and he pretty much showed me bands like Iron Maiden, Metallica, Slipknot, and so on. So he was one of the very first persons who really just brought me in, so to speak. If I could change anything about the music industry, what would it be? That's a very good question. There's lots of things that I would have changed, but I think that the main issue I'm having right now would be that we do not promote the good music very often, and instead of promoting good music, good artists, we just promote bullshit that has to sell very quickly. So instead of having great high quality music that doesn't have good marketing, we're just promoting some bullshit that just has a nice tag on it. So I would change it, most definitely. I would change the way we treat very good artists that truly deserve the fame and the attention. So any new music and movies that have impressed me, maybe not movies, because I'm not really into movies from this year, at least. and I haven't been watching movies for a decent amount of time. I'm not gonna lie, but when it comes to music from 2022, I would say that there are three records that really gave me that wow impression, and those are the newest Artificial Brain album. So this album is just so fucking great, one of the best releases of 2022. The newest Artificial Brain, the newest Altars from Australia, and the newest Cosmic Putrefaction record. Those three records are just, I don't even have words to describe them. Just go and check them out because they're so fucking great. So fucking awesome music. Can I tell a little bit about the Pomeranian black metal scene? So, generally speaking, I do not really listen that much to Polish metal, mainly because I do not find anything that interesting that would have caught my eye much longer. But yeah, we have bands like, obviously everyone knows Behemoth. We also have Azarath from Tchev that plays I think a mixture of black death metal, and I truly enjoy literally every single album of theirs. So Azarath is fucking phenomenal. We also have bands like Kolm Hatchery from Swoopsk. We also have Death Spawn, where I participated in creating their latest album Reverendus from 2020 or 22. I don't really remember because I'm not really into what they do nowadays. But yeah, if you really want to check them out, do it. Check my and their album because we spent countless of hours to make it happen and to make it sound just the way it sounds. So that's it. When it comes to something that I call the young blood, I would say that bands like Pandemic Outbreak, Frightful, and Funeral Mass are really promising bands. They released albums last year, I guess, like the previous year. Very cool sounding music, very promising, and yeah, we have lots of bands on the Pomeranian metal scene. Um, and yeah, but I don't listen to all of them, and I don't really know most of them, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I don't really know. But yeah, the bands I just mentioned are good, are promising, are phenomenal, so you can also check them out. What are the future plans for Embarla Firgasto? So as of now, I am a little bit exhausted of Embarla Firgasto. I had been working on this album for past years, um, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit exhausted. So um, so it's very hard to tell when the next music is going to happen and when it's going to be out. Um, there are no future plans, so it's very hard to tell. I'm not gonna lie, it's very hard to tell. Um, but I can assure you that there is a band that is going to happen in the next months. I cannot really give you any more details because I really want you to have it as a surprise. So I don't really want to get into any further details. So um, there is a band that is going to happen, um, but the future plans for Embarla Firgasto, the future plans remain unknown as of now. In the end, I really want to thank Antichrist magazine for having me, and I really want to thank all of you who have been listening to everything I have to say. Stay metal. You can fully listen to my music on Bandcamp, where you can download the whole thing for free. Basically speaking, you can download all my music for free on Bandcamp and buy very cheap CDs in also very good quality. So yeah, thank you for having me, and stay metal.